All right.
Yeah.
You want the next one?
Yeah, I'm gonna get into the Hyundai.
Okay.
Might as well while we're on the topic of vehicles.
Said get into
some of
the Hyundai.
Get into the Hyundai.
All right, go ahead.
Hyundai. Several podcasts ago, we talked about hydrogen vehicles. Toyota Hino making that big push.
Alternate fuels
vehicles
or fuel cell vehicles, right?
That's right.
Two other terms commonly used on the internets.
That's exactly right. And there's another huge player in this that I had heard a lot of things about them, but they were not heading towards North America, which this really makes sense because of their footprint that they have in North America with the auto side. Anyway, it makes sense. And you've got some neighboring countries not neighboring countries, but people that we do business with in an aftermarket manner that they are heavily involved into those countries. And, the U.S. is selling product in there. But we're going to talk about the Hyundai Xcient. And that's not accent, it's Xcient. It's Xcient.
There you go. Thank you for spelling that out.
Yep. It is their first fuel cell Xcient commercial truck in Europe. They've delivered it. And the shipment involves, however, only 7 vehicles, but they represent a big shift in what kinds of commercial trucks Hyundai says it needs to introduce and sell in the coming decades. That's why the new Hyundai Xcient is a fuel cell powered heavy-duty truck that produces 0 emissions, refuels in just a few minutes, and offers ranges of hundreds of kilometers.
Okay, so now I need to point a couple things out here.
Do this.
All right. First of all, we did a segment on the Hino truck, long-haul truck, which is kind of Toyota's tied to that. You can find that on our YouTube channel, which is what again, Jay?
That would be youtube.com/Parts Counter Gurus.
Sorry, buddy. Were you not ready? I'll try to do better with my softball pitches to you. So go check that out. So my point is that Hyundai is not the first. Toyota's been in on this for quite a while, but it is gaining traction. Now, it does appear at this point, and I just had this conversation with my son, side shot, last night, because he said, Dad, these fuel cell, it's so much more expensive than whether it's electric vehicle charging or even gasoline or diesel, and somebody's done the math, and it's, for like a 12 to 15 gallon equivalent, it's $60 to $70, I think, for a full tank on a fuel cell fill up.
Right.
But I said to him, well, look, they're not mass produced yet. We don't have. Maybe we go back to the term filling stations with these things. We don't have fuel cell filling stations all over the country yet.
No.
That will come down as it becomes mass produced.
It will, and that's going to happen. Hyundai says it does plan to have about 1,600 of those things in operation by the end of 2025.
It's promising, man. They're
upping the production capacity.
There's cold weather advantages over electric, over battery power. I want to see where this goes. I'm very, very interested.
It's extremely, it's very smart on Hyundai's part because they're getting into Europe in those markets where their push for, emission-free, zero-emission output is a huge deal, and they're way ahead of us in that.
Well, and think about
these guys
this.
fit right in. So
we have California mandating no new sale of internal combustion engines, which is following a mandate that I think was first pushed in the UK, Jay.
Yes.
So if they don't have the long-haul truck situation worked out on the EV side, this would potentially be the go-to. It could be a huge sales volume in the truck industry.
Sure.
For any states that don't allow the sale of new diesel engines, right?
California's going to be. They're going to be involved into this. They will get this into that state.
And I'm told, and I haven't I've looked at some of the scientific data, but I haven't dug into it. But I am told that from an emissions perspective and a footprint perspective in terms of how this fuel is produced, it's very, very environmentally friendly and potentially more friendly than creating electricity, depending on where that electricity comes from, whether it's hydropower, solar power, coal power, natural gas, and so on. And we covered that in a previous YouTube segment as well. Where does my electricity come from? Go check that out. We did it on a state-by-state level, right?
Yes, absolutely. And look, man, this makes complete sense. And I'm telling you, I mean, I am excited to be in this industry at this time in history because we are so close to seeing so many different things in modes of transportation and types of fuels and how we're going to be able to get from point A to point B while taking care of our planet. And that's the whole intent here, guys. There's so many, I mean, we're running out of natural resources to do what we want to do on a day-to-day basis. So these are huge steps. So to give you a perspective on what this thing is, the Xcient is actually a, let's see, it is the size of this thing. Where did I see that at?
You're talking about the size of the actual truck itself?
Yeah, so in Europe, it'll be available in a 4x2, 6x2 cargo truck versions, as well as a 4x2 tractor. Now, something that we haven't touched on yet is that they also have what they call the HDC6 Neptune concept, which is coming out. It is a Class 8 heavy-duty truck. So they're making strides in their technology, and they got to test the waters. And Switzerland jumped on board with this first, and they're the ones going to be taking delivery on these trucks, this first wave, and it'll expand over Europe. Man, you know, I don't understand. This is a question and when we got some guests coming on, and we're going to talk about this. I don't understand why the Japanese, the Koreans, the Chinese have made such huge strides in this type of fuel source, yet the U.S. just continues to just battle that gasoline-powered engine, man.
Well,
I mean, we're seeing the push for EVs.
I think necessity is the mother of invention, right? I mean, I think they're backed into a corner in some situations where we here are not.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. But the technology's there. And it's just a matter of, I mean, obviously cost is a lot of it. It has a lot to do with it. And then, of course, you have to test the product. And, thank goodness for Hyundai. They're going to get their feet wet here coming up very soon. So there's that. And we're going to get into this deeper after the first of the year. We're going to have a podcast. We're going to talk about alternative fuels, renewable fuels, just a various combination of different things to think about in the new year. And that'll be after the first year.
Say I want to listen to that podcast, Jay. Say I just stumbled on this YouTube segment and I'm curious about where I might find said podcast.
That's a great question.
So
if you were interested in finding that podcast, you would just have to go over to partskinda.guru.com and you just click on the podcast link at the top of the page there, and you can choose from whatever platform you want. Will it be Spotify, Intune, or TuneIn? Is it TuneIn or Intune? TuneIn. See, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Podcasts. Man, we're on.
We just added the whole Amazon platform.
Yeah.
They're getting in the podcast game now too, so you can find us there. And we're pretty much everywhere.
So stay tuned for that, guys. We'll give as much updates as possible. This is actually the most recent news that we could find on the Xcient and the progress that they've had with it with Hyundai. So I'm excited for these guys. I'm looking forward to it. You never know, man.
Fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. And again, I'm excited about being part of this industry while this is going on. So there you go.